This is Sizzle, powered by Fit to Be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Broadcasting Studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. You want to be part of the 30 or 60-day transformation? Contact Karen, aka Sizzle, on any of her social media platforms at Fit to Be Trained. Now, here's your host of Sizzle, Karen Dougherty.
This is the first thing I've heard all day that isn't Christmas. Like, we almost have to have Christmas music or something.
I don't have any Christmas music cleared up. I don't.
That's
or
yes.
Nothing. There's no Christmas. Let's see.
Well, you're doing sports stuff, so I guess
Yeah.
you really aren't like uploading a bunch of Christmas songs.
Let's see. We have a popcorn. We have a cash register. We got a news flash.
Oh, I like that.
We got screaming. The cheer. The boo. The laugh. You're an alcoholic. We can't play
That's
that
so
one.
funny that they have that.
Lightning strike.
That's cool.
I can always find the lightning strike never gets used.
I like that. That's a good one. We'll have to find.
That's right.
I just moved my
The
mic,
frozen
so
railroad.
let me know if it gets to. If it gets, I've never had it this low. There may be a reason why you have it up like that. But anyway,
Oh, who knows where nephew Dave pulls it around over there?
right. And he's probably taller than me. So, Merry Christmas, my friend. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Ho, ho,
everyone out there.
Ho, ho, ho. The day before Christmas, Christmas Eve. Hanukkah ended on Sunday, so they are finished, but they're celebrating with us. Everybody's celebrating today, I hope. So, now it's fun. I was out there even this morning because my 11 o'clock is traveling. So I ran to the olive oil store.
Oh,
I know. How cool is that? And so I have friends that enjoy
were they Italians?
cooking. I didn't get to talk to the owners, so I don't know, but I am assuming. And I'm assuming with pretty good by the pictures.
Well, if you're
around.
you're from New Jersey. If you're in
Yes.
Philly, if you're in the olive oil business up that way, you don't ask too many questions.
Oh. Is it like the pretzel business? I always thought the
It's like the construction business
in Philly.
or the
No,
garbage
waste.
business.
Yes, waste,
waste
management,
management,
is
yes.
where you go.
Yeah.
Things that make you go.
You don't ask too many questions.
Yeah, I'm that kind of girl, and I think that's from.
You just say, "Give me my olive oil," and let me get out of here.
Well,
give me my extra virgin olive oil, and let me be.
It is cool how many different. Obviously, okay. So you and I used to bartend, and I worked in this bar called the Center Square Hotel in outside of Philly when I was young. I was really young, and probably like 19 or 20 because I wasn't allowed behind the bar yet. I was just waitressing. Anyway, they had like 55. It was the greatest place. I had so much fun working there. Bands, it was rock and roll and boys, beer. Oh my God. It was just so fantastic. And like I said, I was like 19 or 20. I wasn't supposed to be drinking. I wasn't supposed to be I couldn't be behind the bar, but I could serve. Do you remember when the laws were that? I mean, I'm almost 60 years old, so it was a long time ago. But anyway, tons of flavors of draft beer. That was their thing. So the wall was covered with taps. And so I walked into this olive oil store, and it was not like the Center Square Hotel where it was all in a row, but there were all these little kegs, like the size of maybe bigger than rugby ball, but kind of
like a Coors party ball.
It
Remember
was
those
pretty
things?
big. Yeah, maybe not quite that big, but all full of olive oil. And there was, I would say 25, 30, maybe more. I wish I would have researched more, but I was distracted by there was a lot of people in there. But I remember hearing about the place a couple months back, and I was like, that's going to be a good giving gift for women that enjoy cooking, or even someone that, like myself, that might not be the best cook ever. I mean, I've gotten a lot better the last couple of years, but it'll make a good cook out of somebody that's not good, because if you have really good olive oil that's flavored, I mean, there's all these different flavors, like it's like wine, like smoky or fruity or woody and balsamic. So it wasn't just olive oil, it was balsamic vinegar too. I'd like to go back there when it's not Christmas and spend some time and learn a little bit. So it was really, really super cool, but crowded. And then the one girl, like the register got a little messed up on, but everybody was really cheery, nobody got angry or rude but it was I was in there for 40 minutes. That's why I texted you and I was like, oh God, I'm out here in the Christmas land. I'm running behind. So, but what a cool gift. Healthy too. That's very healthy. Obviously I have to give the health message when I'm out and about. And, like I said, it can make a great cook very, very happy, and a not so great cook like myself happy, because I make salmon or something with that olive oil and it's going to be delicious. I picked a Tuscany flavor.
Toscana.
Yeah, actually, I asked what was
olive oil store.
Right. What was the most sold, and that was it. And it's called Savor the Oil up at First Colonial, and I'll get back to you on that. I need to call it out correctly. Savor the olive. I'm sorry, savor the oil.
Merry Christmas to Germany, Sizzle. Marcel Bromond commenting to us from Germany today. How about that?
Oh, I love having somebody live. Yay. Germany is great Christmas. I think of a lot, like a friend of mine was just traveling in Germany and got to go to the Christmas market there. And you can imagine, pretty cool. Savor the Oil is what this store is called, and it's in First Colonial if you're the First Colonial shops if you're local. But I will move on. Speaking of Europe or Germany, I got to speak with Marsha. Remember, I was like, oh my gosh, when I was doing the follow-ups, Marsha from Amsterdam, our CrossFit champion that we had on the podcast last year. I wanted to catch up with all my guests and see what they're up to, and if there's anything they want to say or come back on. And most of them are coming back on, which is really cool. I take that as a compliment. It's like inviting somebody over and they want to come back. You're like, okay, cool. It means you had a good time. So we'll be hearing from everybody, Marsha, very soon, because I said to her, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm doing a follow-up. You want to come back on and really follow up? But she wrote back. She was like, what inspires me in my fitness wellness journey. Like, if you recall, we were asking, if they had a takeaway from 2025 or something they want to talk about going into 26. And I heard a certain theme with the other gals. Like, I heard a lot of grace. I heard a lot of people like giving themselves grace. I thought that was a lot of the guests were saying, and here comes another one. What inspires me in my fitness journey? She said, the fact that people that try to stop me gives me more strength to keep going because of the power of the Almighty. She's talking about her God, and he shows me every time anyone tries to hold me down. So that's all I got. And it's kind of cool because it lets me know that she's doing good. She's had some bumps in the road, but she sounds good to me, giving herself grace and moving forward. She's like, I will glory to him I give glory to him for this coming year when my goal is achieved. Boom, 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 boom. I wonder what that is. So she's our fantastic athlete too. So it could be something that That's what I always picture with Marsha. Business, yes, because she is a boss babe. She does have quite a few businesses too over there in Amsterdam and Croatia. I believe we'll catch up with her though. I'm looking forward to talking to Marsha and see what she's up to sports wise too. She's always competing somewhere. Good old Tammy Saunders is coming back. She opened a gym in Iowa. So I get to do a follow-up with her. Some of the gals that we missed, though, because Tammy, we heard from Lori Patterson. Lori Patterson's doing really good, too. She's our boot camp girl. If you recall, she was our gal that started boot camps 20, 25, 30 years ago. Granted, that's not when boot camp was invented, but that's when it really came into fitness. And Lori was a pioneer in that. And she was she is an Army vet herself. So she knows a little bit about the boot camp. And she's good. She's got a great business going. I talked to Caroline. Caroline jumped back into the classroom to do some teaching this semester. So let me remind you about Caroline. She came on because she's life and nutrition coach and focuses on nutrition and really lifestyle. I would call Caroline. She was a teacher that taught grade school young children, and after the pandemic changed her career and found her place outside of the classroom, was needed back into the classroom, it sounds like, and she is back in there as well. So she wrote, I've been back in the classroom to do some teaching this semester, which is crazy because I have so much going on in my business, but I loved reconnecting with my why and getting to spend time with some really smart kiddos. They teach me so much. That's so positive. For my business, I'm running a 6-week small group program, helping women get healthier without the hustle. I like that. Healthier without the hustle. Ain't that the truth? God, it's hustle here and a hustle there. This program is designed to help women master the simple basics of healthy eating, the things that actually move the needle to support hormone production, blood sugar balance, good energy, and a more efficient metabolism. Go, Caroline. The next round starts January 6th. I'm so glad she got this in with me. It's our 4th series and honestly just keeps getting better and better and better. And I believe her because every time you redo a series or a transformation program, you get the bugs out. So the fact that she mentioned it's our 4th one, I'm sure it's getting better and better and better. And you know, listeners, I really trust this gal with your nutrition needs. She's the kind of gal that really goes the extra mile. 110%, you know, not 100%, which 100% is good, 110. And you know what? A lot of these guests that's who they are. You know, they're 110% people. It's kind of a pattern going here at the Sizzle show. Alyssa, remember Alyssa? She was on not that long ago. Now her life changed very much, and I'm a little quiet because I'm like, do I put this out there? My life has changed, blew up, and made answering these questions tricky for me. But upon further reflection, I do think I can add some value, despite it not being quite the answer you may have been looking for. So here we go. Hudson, her 8-year-old, was diagnosed with epilepsy early November. So she was on the show in October, if you recall, right after that. It has been a huge life adjustment for us all. He went from a normal, healthy, independent little boy to now having multiple seizures a day, needing quite a bit of more assistance with day-to-day tasks and activities. That's why I hesitated. I was like, do I have permission to say this? And I do. She did want us to put this in. And obviously, because there's other women and men that are struggling with this in their households. I had a friend that had epilepsy. It is, needs some attention, right? So this is the answer. I guess the answer to your question would be that my priorities have shifted. I have scaled back the number of days I work out, been more flexible with skipping a day because he needs me more. Sometimes I work out, sometimes I don't. The shift is weird for me as I have always had the ability and drive to exercise. With all that being said, this is a season. And I know Alyssa, I feel like almost personally, not in a long time because she moved away, but yes, very dedicated athlete. So to give herself grace and take the days off, for some of us, we understand that, whether it be work, anything, but when your child needs you, he needs you. And but some of us with fitness get a little obsessive compulsive. I've been there, but I'm happy to say I'm not anymore. And I'm glad that Alyssa is giving herself grace.
I understand her completely. I think my mom's health focus totally took away from me on my own fitness at some points, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, life gets in the way sometimes. And I think the lesson that we have to learn is that we have to give ourselves grace. And our culture really hammers us go, 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 go. And it's easy to get caught up in the rat race.
This is a very impatient culture. It very much is. Just like, for example, this podcast, and people will always criticize, not just your podcast, but like podcast in general. It's too long. It's too much. I need to know everything in 5 minutes. I need to know everything in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, the way my Sunday show works, that's not it. It actually takes a long time.
Well, don't you have to
get
watch
the results
game?
that we need? Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I mean, there's no short. If you're trying to do like what we're doing on Sundays, and that's win money, there's no shortcut to that. You actually have to.
I would assume
invest the time, work hard, go pick and prod through every angle, and that's not even a guarantee that that's going to work. So I have a lot of disdain for the rush environment myself. Everyone definitely needs to take a chill pill, relax. I mean, you see it on the streets every day with people speeding by you, going 50 in a 35, or they're riding right up your ass, and there's nowhere to go for them.
Right, you meet them at
because there's a million cars in front of you. I've actually had a lady pull a gun on me because she couldn't get by, and there was like cars in front of us. Like, where are you going to go, lady? I mean, come on.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then you meet them at the stoplight.
Yeah, and then you meet them at the stoplight.
And,
it's really silly.
I have I won't get into this story. Let's just say this guy had a lisp in the Prius, and he was awful rambunctious about me not waiting for a handicapped person to go through a crosswalk. And he let me hear about it a lot.
Oh no, yeah.
As he pulled by me, but when I called up to him at the stoplight, he didn't have much to say. I'll tell you that.
Well, maybe I hope that maybe he did not know that person was handicapped.
It was atrocious.
And it doesn't even matter if it wasn't a handicapped person. It's just that we're not giving, he wasn't giving that person grace to cross the road. He wasn't giving you grace. And I think that's what I'm kind of leaning towards in this podcast, especially with coming in to Christmas and the new year, with everybody getting ready to set their New Year's resolutions. And I'm all about showing on.
I think patience is a great resolution for everybody.
I think so too. I really
take a deep breath, relax,
and give yourself grace.
Know that speeding is not going to get you. Maybe it gets you there 2 or 3 minutes faster than what it usually would.
Right. Because what are we talking about? In the end result, it's like you're going to save 2 minutes by acting like a fool on the road. Going back to this email, I I said, God, sorry, I've been stuttering and I haven't been able to talk all morning, even when I was training. Forgive me. Sometimes I work out, sometimes I don't, she said. And that's what the bottom line. And I know, listen, I know this shift is weird for me because I've always had the ability and the drive to exercise. So that's where I want to kind of push through with this podcast. If you're somebody that's in a fitness regimen and you need to take time off, take time off. Don't feel bad. If you're a person that overworks, take time off. Slow down on the road. You've only got one life. And I feel like I'm just learning these lessons now, and I'm almost 60. Like I'm learning that like everything, and it's really just in our culture, you kind of almost can't help it, like scrolling on screen. Like nowadays they say if you're marketing, you can hold the the person on here for 10 seconds. That's it. You've got 10 seconds with them. So like you said, I mean, everybody's in such a hurry, but breathe, like slow down. And I have been really practicing that probably the last year. I had to because of my personal life, and I had to give myself grace. Like Alyssa said, my child needed me too. And even though he's grown, it doesn't matter. Or a family member, in your case, your mom needed you. We're all coming up to times in our life, especially if you're coming up to the time when your parents need you, which is always a shock to all of us, and it takes a lot of time. And yes, you're going to have to give yourself grace on workouts. You're going to have to, here's me with my, when I go through rough times like that, I think of food, water, sleep, the three things. Exercise is in there, and it definitely is. Like I would try to, track. I would start as soon as things got really stressful because I went through a time with my father a couple years back. And so I started tracking my food right away, I did track my exercise, and it went down, I might add. And you don't quit completely because you need it for your mental state, and tracking my sleep. And food is a big thing because you really want to keep eating during stressful times. You know how people get, when I can't eat, I'm so stressed out, like even shakes or stuff like that. And I don't mean to get just on stress, even though this is a stressful time of year. I think a lot of us at Christmas time, unfortunately, do get aren't full of the Christmas joy. Me and a buddy were talking about that yesterday. He was like, my memories of childhood were always how my mom was so stressed out about Christmas. And it's true, like when you're a kid, that's supposed to be the best time of Christmas, but as parents, it's one of the most stressful. So don't forget the kids are watching. Make sure you try and spread some joy rather, because it kind of beats the whole meaning of holiday and family time and all that if everybody's all stressed out, right? So I put the core theme of this episode was that I wanted to catch up with people for sure, but grace versus guilt, why this keeps coming up. I felt like when I was doing my catch ups with people that I was hearing a lot of that. You hear Alyssa giving herself grace. You hear Caroline giving herself grace. She's got to go back into the classroom. So when life changes, rather than get flustered, you just kind of take the bump on. Life is full of bumps and peaks and valleys, and give yourself some grace. we're conditioned to measure worth by output. Like that's what our culture tells us. So it's kind of ridiculous. To-do lists become identity statements. And I agree with that. Like I have a big long list and I have it, but now I used to want things done within a week. Now I give myself such grace that I just cross things off when they get crossed off. I also have incorporated writing things down that I do. So if you are a list person and I am, the crossing off really makes you feel good and you feel accomplished. Make sure you don't forget because I have ADD really bad. So I don't really stay on track, as you've probably figured out listening to these podcasts. Um, so I write things down that I do accomplish, that I do. So I don't get in that headspace where I'm like, oh God, look at my list. I didn't get nothing done. That's no good. Don't go there. If we're not producing, we feel behind, are lazy. Our culture has got us so fired up that you feel guilty when you take a siesta on the couch. People in Europe take 3-hour lunches and they're more productive. They take the entire month of August off and they're more productive. I bet. I mean, I don't know. I just think we live in burnout, like you're constantly on the go. So you would know that with sports. If you had an athlete that was constantly burned out and not resting, they're not going to be a good player on the rugby field. They're going to be burned out. Um, Guilt becomes automatic, not because we're doing something wrong, but because we've trained ourselves to feel it. I thought that was interesting. Guilt becomes automatic, not because we're doing something wrong, but because we've trained ourselves to feel it. So I think a lot of negative feelings that we get, I mean, I'm by no means a therapist, but I've been in therapy so much for my life, like probably from the time I was 12 on, like constantly because of addiction. My addiction started young. I was in the court system young, so they always have to do child try and figure you out. You're good, bad, you're either good, bad, smart, or stupid. That was back in the 80s, but that's a whole different podcast. So moving on, here's the other, here's a key insight. Guilt doesn't always mean you're wrong. Sometimes it just means you're unlearning an old pattern. So when you start feeling guilty because maybe you're taking more time for yourself, remember you're just starting a new pattern. You don't need to feel guilty. Like literally tell that emotion to go away. Here's another cool thing: lazy versus resting. There is a real difference. So I have a fitness job and I have a weird sleep pattern. I'm almost 60 years old, so people can call it, oh, menopause, hormones, whatever. It doesn't matter. My sleep pattern's strange, and I've rather, instead of fought it, have kind of gone with it. Like sometimes I go to sleep pretty early, like 8:30, and then I wake up in the middle of the night, like 1:30. And I often get some of my best work done from like 1:30 to 3:30, and then I go back to sleep. And here's where I've had to give myself grace: is my 6 a.m. gym time hasn't really been happening as much. I've been making like my Saturdays at 8:30 and maybe 6 a.m. because of this new sleep pattern that I can't seem to shake. So I've just decided I'm going with it. I'm not going to spend time trying to figure out what's wrong. I can't help it that I fall asleep. I often like to nap in the daytime too, if I get where I have to go. So I want to hear this: the lazy versus resting. There is a real difference. Lazy is avoidance, disengagement from responsibility, numbing out instead of responding to life. And it usually comes with some resistance, shame, or anxiety. I'm quiet on purpose because I want
Right.
it to hit. Okay, so sorry.
I was like, it sounds familiar, was my reaction.
Well, I didn't want to that's why I got quiet. I didn't mean to make everybody uncomfortable. I just wanted it to hit. I almost repeated it. Okay, so now let's go to rest. Rest is intentional. It's chosen, not avoided. Restores energy, clarity, and creativity. I hope you know this to be true. Makes you better at the things you care about. Let's make sure that I'm not missing. Rest isn't the absence of ambition, it's maintenance for ambition. Or lazy avoids life, rest prepares you for it. I gotta make some posts. This is good. So I'm going to shut up for a second too. I want you to hear that. Rest is intentional, chosen, not avoided, restores energy, and makes you better at what you care about. Number 3, why the nervous system actually needs downtime. Nervous system basics, sympathetic mode equals go, do, solve, push. Most of us live there. And that would be cortisol. You know, when that hormone, it's all over. Everybody talks about cortisol. It's where you're in flight or fight. So your body's like, ready to jump. And it's a very useful tool if a bear comes running at you. You need to be in fight or flight and you need your cortisol. But what happens is we kind of stay in that. So when the bear comes, we're not going to be as sharp or as attention, but we just kind of wear our systems down by always being that, cortisol, almost like an adrenaline. You know it.
Mhm.
Everybody does. Like we even try for it. We drink a bunch of caffeine and energy drinks to kind of be in it. Sympathetic mode. I think I'm saying it right. Go, do, solve, push. Most of us live there. Parasympathetic mode is rest, digest, repair, and regulate. So let me say it again. Rest, digest, repair, regulate. We've got to do this. You have to. You can't not digest your food. You can't not repair your muscles. You have to regulate your systems. I mean, I took anatomy and phys in college for this job. So as a fitness trainer years ago, and I've taken anatomy like 3 times after that, but physiology is about all the systems. You have to rest so they can regulate. You have to. If we never downshift, our focus declines, our creativity drops, and our emotional reactions increase. So burnout, here we go with me talking. Burnout sneaks in quietly. So focus declines, creativity drops, emotional reactions increase. So you're going to blow off go off the handle. Burnout sneaks in quietly. I'm familiar with all this. And I'm really tired of it because I'm not going into my 60s with this lesson not learned. So I started working on it 59 and I'm serious. I am not going into the last part of my life all up in cortisol and nervous and crazy. F that. And I went into my 30s. That's when I quit drinking. The first time I was like, I'm not doing this as a drunk. This is too tiring. I'm going to quit drinking. And that's when I quit drinking at 30. So I'm serious about this. I'm changing this about my life. I'm calming down. So your nervous system isn't designed to be on all the time, even if your mind wants to be. So our mind that's overthinking. I've been kind of reading up on the overthinking thing because that goes hand in hand with this. Perhaps another podcast. Or rest isn't a reward for finishing everything. It's a requirement for functioning well. So, like even Marsha's podcast, or Marsha's return sounded like she was needing some rest, or I don't know. I just kept hearing a lot of grace where people were giving themselves grace if somebody was trying to hold them down or anything, you know. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, giving yourself credit. Done list. Oh yeah, that's what we just talked about. Instead of only doing the to-do list, do the done list. I'm on that. I've been doing that. I've learned that about 6 months ago and it works. This is a powerful practical takeaway. You can share your personal practice, writing what you did, not just what you left behind. I don't really understand that, so I'm going to keep moving. Acknowledging invisible work. So emotional labor, decision making, holding space, showing up consistently. Okay, so I want to go back to that because acknowledging invisible work. Like a lot of times I would look at my to-do list and I'd freak out because I'd be like, oh my God, nothing was done. Well, we do have to remember that decision making isn't a busy task. You're hopefully sitting quietly or maybe taking a walk. For me, I take time and I try to get a good night's sleep too whenever I'm making a decision. Or if there's an episode, I always think to myself, and somebody taught it to me, everything is better on a night's sleep.
Well, so whenever I had decisions to make for work, I would take walks through the environmental center right there. And I seem to always come out with the answer of what I was trying to do.
Right.
Or maybe, or at least the direction of where I was trying to go.
And so you give yourself credit for that time, because a lot of times if we're like that A-type personality where we're trying to check things off the list, you can't check off decision making, so that's why I really wanted to hit on this. Acknowledging invisible work. Don't forget emotional labor. I'm not really sure what that means. But I'm thinking like emotional, like
emotional labor to me is too much thinking.
Overthinking. Yeah. Overthinking
because you're exhausting yourself from trying to think too much and overthinking. When simply maybe just follow your gut instinct, because that's usually never wrong anyway.
I know. And you literally have to teach yourself to do that, at least for me, because one of my biggest struggles in life was not listening to my gut, and it got me, and it would happen at the serious.
It's not even individually. It can be a company, like, so for example, and people could be a part of this, or a company or an organization. There were several times with the rugby team where we have an executive board, and there's something important to decide on, and everyone's best direction is to, okay, well, let's think about it and decide on it later. Which I get a little bit.
Right.
But then that becomes repetitive too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, at some point we got to make a decision.
Right.
Let's just make a decision.
Right. I agree. Right. Because overthinking is what I've been kind of studying now. And it is a form of a procrastination, and I'm studying it because I have problems with it. I overthink things. And as I've aged, I've gotten worse.
And that can take time away from other things that you need to do.
Absolutely. It's crazy. I don't like it. It makes me feel a little out of control, and I'm a control freak. So I'm always trying to learn.
I think that's part of our DNA in a nutshell. That's what people need to understand, is that it's just not you. It's every other person in the world.
Yeah.
Kind of deals with that. And you just need to know how to
manage kind of harness it.
Make a decision, harness an outcome and move forward.
I know. That's why I'm glad that you're willing to talk about this kind of stuff with me on a podcast, because it's stuff that everybody deals with. I know they do. Everybody's got a voice in their head, because whenever I ask people, they're like, yeah, and mine's mean. Mine's getting nicer. That's what I'm trying to learn, to be kinder to myself, be less. Like you talk about people that are competitive. Being competitive is a great thing, especially if you're on a rugby team.
We've talked about this. We've talked about this on other episodes as well. But the voices in your head may not necessarily be just you. And that sounds like, all right, now we're getting on the crazy train of things. But evil will try to influence you
Oh.
through your thoughts. You need to realize that evil works in weird ways. It's often unseen, unknown, undetectable. And a lot of times that's just a thought in your heads of maybe it trying to persuade you to do something that you shouldn't be doing, or going a direction that you shouldn't be going. And you need to be able to recognize that.
I love that you said that. That's very, very, very true. I do believe in good and evil, obviously. And I say obviously, I didn't mean to say that, because not everybody does. And that's fair. That's what I like about this podcast.
A simple example is this. And
Star Wars.
Everyone
Lord of the Rings.
Everyone has asked themselves this question. All right. And when I say it, you're gonna be like, all right, here we go on the loony bin. All right. But for example, do I have the capability to kill somebody? You ask yourself that. And I think everyone in the world has asked themselves that. And when you're asking yourself that question, that is almost evil at work right there.
Well,
that's the thoughts that they were putting in your head.
I had to talk. It was a moment. It was a very quick moment, but I joke. It's not funny. I've joked around where, yes, I've almost killed people.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a little ashamed.
No,
I mean, there's a microphone in my face. I'm like,
no
holy shit.
There's no shortage of instances.
Yeah, like
where you wish, like, you know what? If you weren't around, I wouldn't care.
I don't have time. I've said it several times to friends. I don't have time to do time. And thank God, because I really, in the perspective of right and wrong, I don't want to, but I've got emotional.
I don't want to see blood and guts and gore.
Right. It's an emotion.
And violence. And I just don't like pain in a nutshell, or people having to deal with unnecessary pain and stuff like that.
Well, self-control is probably what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, those voices in your head aren't necessarily you. That can be some other outside influence trying to just poke and prod at you a little bit.
Isn't that true?
And if you show vulnerability, that's when you get in trouble.
Oh, that's creepy. But you're right. This is very, very right. So don't forget, we'll go like this. Make a hard left and go back into the done list. So don't forget to not listen to the voice in your head if it's nasty, and check off those done lists and make sure you do the things. To-do list and the done list. Why rest feels uncomfortable at first. This is important and very real. Stillness can surface emotions. Silence removes distraction. Productivity can become a coping mechanism. So I have had struggles with the TV. Like, I've had to take the TV out of my room before. I've had to, because I knew that I was using it. Silence removes distraction. Stillness can surface emotions. I was going through some rough times and I didn't like what I was thinking about. So when the TV was on, I could distract myself from, I'll just say I was having struggles with my son and growing pains, we'll call it, when a family is going through growing pains. And I just didn't like thinking about things, so I kept busy. And so that's why these are the hard subjects to talk about on this podcast, because everybody goes through it. But it also is very unhealthy, like, to leave that TV on all night when you're supposed to be sleeping. You have to try to, like, set a timer. Like, I totally understand, and I want to give people grace, like, if they've got that TV on, but have a meeting with yourself. Are you avoiding something? Silence removes distraction, and productivity, like, you could be always keeping busy, which for me, it helped me cope with stuff that I was going through. But I'd fall asleep with the TV and then have a messed up night, because when the TV's running when you're sleeping, it's still a minor distraction. So I try to ask people to try to put their timers on their TVs, make sure that it shuts off because your nervous system needs that quiet. It really needs it. And I'm guilty of struggling with that, especially lately in the last couple of years. And then it becomes a bad habit because I'm not as stressed at home anymore. Like everything else, time heals things. It passes, things get better. But now I'm in a bad habit. So now I have to break the habit, break the cycle. I've been trying to read more and I have so resisted it because I'm so used to the short circuit TV. Like it's just so much quicker to watch TV that it's almost a burden to start reading again. So I have all these books stacked up on my end table by my bed and downstairs now, because I'm just TV. So that's something that I'm personally struggling right now. And I'm trying to how to work with that. Like sometimes I've taken the TV out of the house. I've done stuff like that. My TV broke upstairs in my room. So I'm happy about that, but it's kind of bled to where I'm downstairs. So I won't bore you with that, but I'm having a meeting with myself. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But if it does, these are the things that you have to do. Other ways to give yourself grace, practical and realistic. Small, accessible ways. Schedule non-productive time on purpose. Like give yourself nap time, give yourself TV time, but let it end. That's something that I need to do. Like I need to know that, okay, I'm done work. I can watch TV for a couple minutes. Cause what I try and do is do work while I'm watching TV and I'm using it as a distraction. It's weird. I've never really been this bad in my life. So I'm uncomfortable when the TV's off and it's silent. So I know that I have to start practicing. So I have to schedule non-predictive. I'm going to have to schedule time off the TV. Take breaks without earning them. Replace I should with what do I need? I should. Because I know, like, I should do this, I should do that, I should do this. So, what do I need? I think you're trying to change the verbiage in your brain. Speak to yourself the way you would a client or a friend. I have been trying to practice this kind of behavior for decades. Yeah, talk to yourself the way that you talk to your peers. You would never be mean to your friends or anything, and think about what you at least for me, I've gotten a lot nicer to myself, but I always was like work, 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 work. I used to call the voice in my head the taskmaster. She was such a bitch. Like she would never let me rest. Speak to yourself. Okay, we did that one. And accept that seasons change. Capacity isn't fixed. So I'm going to take that in we just talked about, like how I said, like things were really difficult for a while there and I was using the TV as a tool, but now it's become a terrible habit and I'm having a hard time focusing because my seasons changed. I don't need it. I don't need to be using it. It's almost like if I started drinking again because things got difficult, then things stopped getting difficult, I'd be stuck with my drinking. So that's why me as an alcoholic, I just don't drink, period, because life ebbs and flows, you now I've got this bad habit I got to get rid of, but I'm gonna, and it helps that it's New Year's. That'll be my New Year's resolution. Closing reflection as we move into 2025. I'm sorry, as we move into 2026, maybe the goal isn't to do more. Maybe it's to do what matters without burning ourselves out in the process, because there's a lot to be said about that cortisol stuff and our hormones and the fight or flight. I think a lot of the people that I see for as at work, whether they be clients or peers or colleagues or whatever, or friends. I think a lot of us are in fight or flight, like constantly. I know that I am, and I'm really trying to take myself out of that space because I've really kind of been like that my whole life. And it was useful when I was younger. I mean, I got a lot of stuff done. It's useful to be like that, be productive and all that, but it's like anything else, it'll turn against you. And if it starts to be where you're not appreciating the downtime that you have, and you're not taking time to yourself, it's a problem. That's
Take a
just,
step back, relax, and do what's smart.
yeah, it's a
And
problem.
follow your gut more than anything.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Like following your intuition. That could be a good podcast in the future, like how intuition has helped. But I really feel like I'm so out of touch with that kind of stuff because of this TV stuff I've been doing. It was fun in the beginning. And I have to admit, a lot of the stuff that I was doing was technical stuff. So it was a lot of I don't want to say dummy work because I really did have to focus, but it was like mind bending, you know? So I found the TV, I'd get off the computer and I found the TV like mindless, like it helped me relax in a weird way, where taking a walk would be a way out in nature, especially, would be a healing way for my brain, because I admit it that I feel like my brain almost hurts after the last couple of months. I planned this. I wanted to build all these systems for 2026. I wanted all my transformation programs to be ready. I wanted all the buttons to be ready to be pushed when somebody pushes enroll or book a call or stuff like that. I wanted it all connected, everything to be smooth. I wanted the bugs out of everything. And I'm pretty much there. I mean, January 1st is coming around the corner. I added some things. So I worked really hard the last 3 months, but I'm paying for it in a way with the weird sleep and the TV stuff. So I'll check back with you guys in a couple months and let you know how that's going, because it's all a work in progress. Like when you're trying to regulate your sleep back again, what do? You make sure you go to bed at a certain time, and sometimes you just have to live with it, like I've been doing. I think I hear people complain all the time about waking up in the middle of the night, and so I think it's pretty common nowadays, and maybe it could be because we're in that fight or flight mode. Even you were saying that you were struggling with sleep. Um, I think it's probably harder to regulate than we realize, but I'll do some research on that so we can have some on the downtime times that we don't have guests. We've got some guests coming in for January, though, I will say. So we have stuff to look forward to. We have some gals coming back. I've got actually a friend of mine coming next week for the New Year's. Even she was like, this is a good way to start the new year. And we'll be talking about general health and wellness. She's a massage therapist and been in health and wellness her whole life. I've known her since we were in junior high. We didn't keep in touch all these years, but I knew her when she's young, and I've been following her for 30, 40 years. So she really, I'm really looking forward to having her on the podcast next week. And then we have Marsha coming back. We've got Tammy coming back. We've got check-ins. We've got guests. I'm hoping I got an Olympian. I wasn't going to say it because I didn't want to jinx myself, but I'm hoping maybe she's checking out the podcast. Please, please, please. I really want this one gal to come on, and because she's got such a great message. It's not just because she was in the Olympics. She's just got a great message to women athletes. And so fingers crossed. I'm working hard on trying to get some really more motion on the more movement on the podcast. So I am going to ask you guys, if you are listening, share this with your friends. Let people know that we've been on this a year. We're not going anywhere. So with that, I'm going to wish everybody a merry Christmas if that's your choice of celebration, and have a fantastic week.
There it is, Sizzle. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. I would say Happy New Year, but we'll be on next week.
Yeah, we will be on next week. I wasn't sure, but it looks like we are on. What a lady, what a night.
All right, lots of views today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Really?
Wherever you are at around the world.
Oh, that's so great.
Including Germany.
Oh, that's cool. I love that we're international.
Yes, we hope you get your Christmas markets back. Interesting dialogue. All right, everybody. Merry Christmas. Be safe.